we can't ignore there's a bit of anxiety as kids go back to school, concerns for kids and parents as a lot of kids go back for that first day.
That's right, and sadly, one of those things that they have to prepare for is the possibility of senseless violence on campus. Shootings in our schools have become such a reality that kids of all ages in all grades are going through active shooter drills just in case.
Yeah, listen, I never had to go through any of this stuff as a kid, but now it's just commonplace for kids nowadays. So how do you explain to your child what they're doing and why without making them afraid of going to school? So here to help us out is Dr. Dominic Sportelli. He is a psychiatrist for adults, kids, and adolescents. Dr. Dominic, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
So great to see you guys.
You too.
So let's start with the most basic question. How do you get the conversation started and rolling with your kids? How do you talk about essentially the reality of the danger without scaring them?
Oh my goodness, Jen. So this is such a real thing these days. And as you said, was not the case when we were kids. So it's a cultural shift. It's a significant shift for us as parents now to even think about talking to our kids this way. So the first thing that I would say is a really challenging conversation to have. It can cause a lot of anxiety in your kids. So the first thing that I would say, guys, is make sure that you are in the right time, place, and setting to talk to your kids about this. So many parents are so busy. Kids have sports. Kids are running back and forth. It seems like we're so frantic these days that we don't really even have time to talk to our kids, as crazy as that sounds. So my first basic foundation of advice is make sure you're choosing an appropriate time, place, and setting to talk to the kids. And, it's going to be age appropriate. If you have a teen, obviously, you're going to talk to them at a different time than you talk to a younger child. But for the most part, evenings, when it's time to settle down, is a great time to sit and focus. And make sure this time is when they're sort of able to be relaxed and receptive to what you're about to talk about. So that's number one, right?
Yeah.
Now, what we always want to say when we're talking from a psych perspective, because we don't want to traumatize children, what we can do in this case is tell them that we're just focusing on general safety. The importance of safety at school can just be emphasized, and we can absolutely say to them, listen, this is no different than preparing for a weather drill or preparing for a fire drill, for example. This is something that's going to give us confidence and preparedness in the rare case that something happens. So there's no real need to get into graphic detail, talk about what happened in the past or historically. No need to do that, because sometimes these things can actually traumatize kids because they might look it up, they might read about it. So the truth is, this is basic safety. So keep it that way. The other thing, and the final point that I'll say, is kids have feelings, right? And if they feel that they can't express those feelings, or if they feel that they can't question you about those feelings, they're not going to come to you and they're not going to talk to you. So acknowledge their feelings and validate those feelings. Make sure that you say, listen, I understand that this is a scary thing. This could make you worried. And the truth is, it's okay to be worried about this because it is a little bit of a scary circumstance. And those feelings are normal. But we're making you more prepared and confident to deal with this. But again, let them ask those questions and let them be open about it as well.
Yeah, I think that this is a really great, good thing to just frame up for people how to have the conversation. Because I think sometimes parents, guardians, they feel, how do I even begin? And you've given us some really great examples of just prompts that we can use to just begin the conversation.
And you can use those prompts, by the way, whenever you see news reports about tragic things that are happening inside schools. Those are all good points to take away.
And what we also encourage, too, to your point, guys, is make sure your kids are open to validate, talking about their feelings with you. But when you ask your child questions, ask open-ended questions. And what I mean by that is don't ask yes or no questions. Ask, so what do you know about this? Let's talk about this. Tell me about that. Leave it open. Let them feel open to discuss it, and then let them guide the conversation. That's a great, great thing to do.
Thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate your insight and your perspective. Good tips.
Thank you.